Hi, Truth Tribe. It's Jen. Sorry I was away for a moment. Day of despair. Here, I want to show everyone the art of healing through hugging, and then I'll explain why. Enter left stage, sir. See? This is medicine, okay? Thank you. I love you too. Okay. Hi, guys. Um, I wanted to just talk to you guys about a couple things today. So I wrote some things down. Those who follow or are subscribed or check in with me, my brothers and sisters out there, you know who you are, and this this video is for all of you that I hold with high esteem and love and gratitude in my heart all the time. So, okay, the whole point of the healing hug exercise there was that it truly is medicine. Um, there's been an experiment done on water, actually, where if you have a glass of water and you're about to drink it, and you are grateful for that water for sustaining your life, and you hold that gratitude intent in your heart, and you speak the words, I love you, to the water, you actually alchemically, it has been proven already, it's scientific fact, you alchemically change the composition of the H2O, the water, into crystalline snowflake form. And the reason it's an alchemical process is because that is when liquid goes to solid without passing through the gaseous phase, solid, liquid, gas. Um, so it goes from liquid water, that you drink, to basically ice, um, in form, in chemical composition, but still you could drink it. It's not like, sucking on an ice block or anything. It purifies it. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. It purifies the water. So if you are poor like me and you can't afford to go get these, ionized waters that everybody's talking about, and afford these, expensive, whatever, waters, then that's all you have to do. And it's free. You just have to be thankful to Mother Earth for providing what we need to survive, which is water, our food, our air, and healing medicines. One of the healing medicines that I would like to talk about today is Mary Jane. I live in Pennsylvania at the moment, at the time, and on the Pennsylvania state homepage today, there was an article of a father who has two children. I believe they're age 5 years old, and they have autism like me. And the father had tried every type of treatment that was available, and his daughter especially was having, I think he said, upwards of 10 meltdowns a day, emotional meltdowns a day. And let me clarify again, autism is the inability to communicate properly with others or to form relationships. And there are people that have different forms, like Asperger's, and there are people like me and my sons who have high functioning levels of autism, but it's still autism. Okay, so that was on the front page, and now he is an advocate, um, a caregiver who endorses the use of medical Mary Jane, aka marijuana, aka cannabis, aka indica, sativa, healing herbs that the earth provides naturally as medicine. So I thought that was really cool. That, I mean, like, it's like I literally said out loud, like, yes, Pennsylvania's like getting with the times now. Ooh, amen. So that was pretty sweet. Um, I wanted to just touch on the Nipsey Hussle murder yesterday. Um, I was in tears this morning when I finally looked into it. I try not to really, I scope the headlines of world events, current events, but I don't dig deep into them anymore because they really lower your vibration. And I was just a wreck this morning. I was in tears after that. Like that kid, the way I say kid because I'm 42, and he was what, 29, like the prime, just the prime of his life, and a former gang member, and victim of the streets, just like me. And he was going to meet with the LAPD, and a day prior to that, he's taken out and silenced. And I just lost it. I looked up to the sky and I said, this has got to stop. Like, if one more life is cut short and any more blood is shed in the pursuit of truth, I don't think I can stomach one more. I just don't. I don't think I have it in me anymore. I mean, my generation in the 90s, we were the, like, dyeing our hair, piercings, tattoos, like non-conformists, like speaking out against the NWO way back then, like at 15 years old. And man, it's just, I don't know, it's just so sad. So I'm watching the memorial that they're holding, and there's candlelight vigils going on there, and people are paying their respects to him, that he had changed his life around and was about to, go meet with the LAPD and really speak some truth about it. And so these people are paying their respects, and gunshots, of course, you hear boom, 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 and these people are running and ducking for cover. And it's like they can't even go mourn the death of, oh, there go the church bells, if you can hear them. Dun, dun. Stay on the clock, everybody, stay on the clock. Anyways, sorry. So, and yesterday I was talking to Brian, and when I do a channeling or hypnosis session, and spirit comes in and speaks to me, then sometimes I'll be given an intent to maybe hold a geographic area in my heart space, my heart chakra. And I can't pinpoint the exact location of what's going on where. I'm just shown the generalized area that something major is going down there, and to please just hold everyone in your heart is what the message I get. So yesterday I told Brian, I said, I'm feeling Asia, but I said, I don't know exactly where, but I said something, something. And being April Fool's Day, April 1st, and that day has a historic meaning behind it. If anyone studies the ancients, the art of archaeology, and knows that that is a day of trickery, April Fools, you know how it goes. And there's a reason that people play tricks on April Fool's Day in game form and think it's fun, and it is, to pull pranks and jokes. But there's a historical reason way that goes way back that commemorates that particular day, in a dark way, in a not so great way. Uh, so, being the night of April 1st into the 2nd, all this stuff was going down. I'm like, you know. So I told Brian, I'm like, I gotta probably stay up tonight. I told him that sometimes I'm called to stay conscious and awake during particular times. It could be, I don't know, 3 a.m. or, you know, some random time. And then sometimes I'm called to go into a theta realm state of lucid dreaming or hypnosis, which would be comparable to, let's say, if you're in a trance meditative state or in a daydream and your mind is just wandering, your brain waves are moving at like a theta brainwave state, which is a meditative state, a contemplative state. And so sometimes I'm called to go under hypnosis or something like that, that I need to subliminally, subconsciously, unconsciously travel, um, and maybe do some work in some other realms. I'm sorry, my hand's falling asleep. I gotta switch hands. So last night, I got the intent put on me that it was going to be a long night. And I really didn't get much sleep last night. Um, and there was some big stuff going down, and that's why. So I had to stay awake and I had to consciously hold that geographic location in my heart space. And among others, people that are under persecution right now, people that are being silenced, like the soul I just spoke about. And so, yeah, um, a lot of people under fire right now, literally, figuratively, metaphorically. A lot of people, including me, including a lot of us. Um, I also wanted to point out that I've been in my videos a lot of focusing on myself and my current situation. And I have merited some of that because I'm really in a pretty dire, homeless, can't even meet my basic needs type of situation. So, basic needs would be pretty sweet right about now. But I know that what I'm supposed to be doing is providing service by freely sharing tips and truths. And that's what I do. I'm just a truth teller. Like it, don't like it. A very good friend of mine always says, take it, leave it, or throw it in the garbage. But, you know, and that's how I am as a mother, as a friend, as a partner, as a daughter, as an aunt, as a niece, as a sister, as a cousin. I'm firm because I'm a Capricorn. Well, Sag slash Capricorn if you want to be Vedic astrology about it. But I hold a lot of Capricorn traits. Nobody can help the star signs that they were born under. And mine are very authoritative and regimented and strict and rigid, and everything's orderly, and a lot of like OCD tendencies and stuff like that. So I'm trying to, another thing Brian and I talked about was me trying to soften a little bit, be a little more on the gentle side and a little less on the firm side. But no matter what I do, it always comes from a place of goodness and love. Like when my kids were young, I didn't beat them. I didn't, embarrass them and call them out in front of their friends. What I did is say they were 8 years old. Okay. My son was 8 years old. He had a lot of issues with ADHD, and it took a lot of patience using I didn't put him on Ritalin and none of that crap because his dad was on that, and he used to tell me horror stories about when he would just be like sitting on the couch and like medicated and sedated as a kid. And he's like, so I never gave Steven really like any medicine like that. I always just said, okay, if it comes to the point where it's interrupting his schooling to where he can't focus, his education, and he can't learn, then maybe I'll intervene. But until then, we're not taking any of them poisons. So I didn't never have him on anything for it. And he grew out of it, you know. Shocker how those things happen, huh? And but anyways, I remember one time he was so hyperactive. He literally was like SpongeBob, and he was about 5 years old. And he was just ha, 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 and he couldn't stop. He was just laughing. And when he'd sit at the table, his legs would be bouncing and he'd be bouncing up and down. And I had to be very, Stephen, come on, you need to eat dinner and blah, 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 blah. Like always just trying to keep him on focus. And so this one time I had to literally bear hug him in my lap. I had to put my arms around him and then put my legs around his leg. And I sat there rocking him on the ground, and he's ha 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 ha, and I'm crying behind him. I'm like just try like I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. And that's all I could do was hold him, hug him, love him, and calm him. And it worked. So, with that being said, I reached out to him today on Messenger on Facebook, and I asked him to please go somewhere alone tomorrow and with no distractions. When the band's not practicing, he's like a big time gamer, like his mama. And but I'm an OG. I'm from the OG days of Intellivision and Atari and Genesis and GameCube and like Mario and Resident Evil and Silent Hill and stuff like that. But anyways, oh, there was an old computer game, by the way, really old, like early 80s, and it was called Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but you had to go through these tunnels and these snakes would come out. You could hear them when they would get close, and you had like a sword or something. I don't remember, but it was a really cool game back then. And it was on like an old ancient dinosaur computer, like an IBM. So, anyways, oh, I always get sidetracked. That's my nerves when I get on camera because I'm so fond of the spotlight. Anyways, so back on track. Focus, Jennifer. Okay. So this morning, so my son, I said, can you please, I'm going to get my notes together and I'm going to explain a little bit about the whole autism aspect of your mother, and that I did not know this until as of late. I mean, deep down, I always knew. I just never wanted to admit it to the medical community because I was afraid that they would like take my kids from me, because I didn't think anybody really understood that there are different forms of autism. You're not always the kid, in the corner rocking back and forth like Rain Man, like literally Rain Man. But we are like that behind closed doors, but we know when to put on that masquerade mask and be that, in whoever's company in order to be acceptable. We know how to put on many masks, and I have. And I don't want to conform to the norm anymore because I'm not that. I'm just me, myself, and I. And I'm happy to be me. I like myself. I love myself, as a matter of fact. God blessed me with a very, very gifted brain, and I use it and I love it. And I'm out of the box. I'm like that, Generation X, like we will never conform. Like, listen to Fred Durst when he talks about, like, we don't give a fuck, and we won't ever give a fuck until you give a fuck about me and my generation. Like, how many do we have to lose to suicides and overdoses and mothers and fathers being stripped away from their kids because we're so just lost? Like, God, I've suffered every addiction that you can possibly imagine. Everything. I have worked in the game to get what I need. I have sold my soul to the Killuminati themselves because I just wanted the next Prada bag like every other girl had, or I wanted my nails done so that I could be sexy to my boyfriend so his attention wasn't always being dragged elsewhere, or so many things. Just being accepted. It's all about acceptance. It's all about acceptance. We are not whole as people until we are united as one. So, anyways, back on track. I'm sorry I get on these tirades and tangents. It's just been a really emotional day. And I'm here to share the truth, and I'm just going to do that. And whoever it resonates with will hear this, and whoever it doesn't, you can pass me by. Please don't hate on me, though. Please don't thumbs down me just for being different, okay? That's one thing I ask. Um, if you guys want to help me out, if you feel called to help me, you could like this video, or you could comment, or you could share it with somebody that's maybe gone through these similar types of things and needs a friend and doesn't have anybody. Because when you comment, like, or share videos on YouTube, it moves the algorithms so your videos get passed around to a broader, bigger audience, and the more people hear it. And I am a true, firm believer that knowledge, wisdom, light, love are gifts, and they should be shared as such without a price tag or a cost. They should be freely given. And as a matter of fact, when I was 15, I used to write poetry all the time. And I started that again. I have some good ones in my journals as of late, but the one poem I wrote that back in the day, when dial up AOL was around, I found an agency online where I had my poem copyrighted, actually. So here it goes, and it's called Love. Love, so unwilling, so unkind. It can be lost, stolen, even shared. But one thing is certain: one can never own love, for it exists only to be given. And yeah, it's still true today. And it was when I was 15 too, when I wrote it. So, anyways, back to the headlines here. Um, and I'm sorry, somebody just messaged me. A little floating chat just popped up. Oh, it's my friend Nicole. I checked in on her today. She's going through some situations with her daughters, and they're looking for a place to go. And um, I'm just keeping them in my heart too. Um, okay, so uh, I went out into my spot in the woods today, way far back, away from the noise of the city, where I go for some peace and solace. And I broke down in tears and I just called my angels. I called Jesus. I called God. I called the mother. I called everyone, my Nana, everybody I could think of to just be around me, and nature elementals as well, because I was out there alone and vulnerable, and um, I needed consoling, and I needed to just connect in the woods with nature and with the earth and peace and quiet. And so I laid under this tree after I was done crying and praying and pleading. And there, the tree line that I was under, there was an opening above. And at that moment, when I was laying there on the ground under this tree, the sun just right on me. And I just like looked up at the sky with my eyes closed. So you just like face the sky, but you can feel the sun on your face. And I just said to God, I said, thank you. I said, that's really, really, really warm. And it really was. It was comforting and warming and soothing and calming. And I've been homeless like most of this winter. And I'm not from here. Like, I'm from Florida, so I've never really been exposed to how brutally cold the weather is here. And let me tell you what, even in a car, and I was thankful to have Brian's car to sleep in, but man, I was pretty sure I was going to lose my toes on a couple occasions because I couldn't even feel them. And it's really cold out up here. So my heart goes out to all the homeless in this area, because it takes one to know one. And now I know. And I'm sorry for any of you that have to go through that, because it fucking sucks. It really does. And it's cold. So I thanked God today for just giving me that moment in the sun, with that little space in between the trees, that it just happened to directly just descend right on me. It was really nice. So, um, okay. Now, I did want to talk about the fact that President Trump did sign an executive order against EMP attacks. So I do want people to be aware. I'm very thankful for this man. I am not a Democrat and I am not a Republican. I am an independent. And the last time I claimed a party was as a Democrat, and the person that I voted for won. And I'm not going to name any names, but we know what happened. And it makes me sad that I participated in that. But that's because I fell for it and I believed in it. So it is what it is. But, anyways, after that point, I mean, my voter registration still says Democrat on it, but that's as easy as going to the welfare department and putting in a new voter registration card as an independent. And that's what I formerly was, and that's what I am now, and I will change that on my voter registration. So, when the president signs an executive order, I need people to be aware that that goes above and beyond counties, state, different jurisdictions. That goes really high, like into administrations, agencies that the general public isn't really aware of that exist. Um, so it gets shit done without having to go jump through all the bullshit hoops of due process and all and such. So I would like to personally shout out and thank Mr. Trump for doing that as a form of protection, because we know, some of us know, what electromagnetic phenomena is capable of on a subliminal level for people, and the atrocities that it can potentially present. So I thank him. If no one else does, I do. I appreciate that. So, on top of that, Judge Janine Pirro, okay, she's like my freaking girl. Like, she's speaking the truth, like wanting these, I don't know, I'm getting the word puppets, um, exposed through the justice system, and if need be, behind bars the way that it should be, so that in the meantime, no harm can be done, just in case, as a measure of protection. And I totally agree with her 100%, a billion percent. I do. And I watched her speech, and she's on point. So I applaud her, and she's at least someone, unlike me, that can be heard by the masses. So are other people like Roseanne Barr, and she speaks the truth as well, and she's just a little more blunt about it. And she's the type, don't like it, don't look, but she's still going to speak it, you know? But Judge Janine Pirro is very direct. She is very well versed in the justice system, and she's going to get shit done. And I'm going to tell you on a personal level that it's happening here in my little tiny, teeny, tiny neck of the woods here. Local departments of authority are being exposed. There was another officer that was just taken in for under alleged alleged molestation reports of a young girl. And there are others, and some of us know them on a personal basis through friends. Oh, and that's another thing I need to touch on really quick. Someone that I knew very well, um, who helped me out once upon a time, passed away this past week. He was the same age as my father. He was 72, and he was also a veteran of this country, and he served in Korea, and he was a victim of Agent Orange, and he was real messed up after that. And my heart goes out to him, because when nobody else was there for me, he was. And he got me food, and he got me clothing, and he gave me a place to stay, and um, some not so nice things, but whatever. Anyways, my dad came up from Florida last year, and they actually got to meet like two veterans, same age, and we used to have conversations. The man that I knew that passed away, um, if you guys could pray for him, that'd be great. His name is Dave, and so my dad dropped me off there when he came up on vacation, and they actually had a nice, you know, conversation, like military style, and it was really cool to hear them swap stories about how it was overseas and back in those times and blah blah blah. And they shook hands, and it was a really nice thing to see, and these two honorable at one time honorable, but in my heart both are honorable for what service they provided to us all. by being on the front lines overseas so that we could all be here today. And they've been displaced, and our poor veterans, that's all I have to comment on that. I mean, they risked their lives, and my dad was honorably discharged because he was in a severe accident and he lost toes and everything. And yeah. So, anyways, on to the next subject. I'm just being guided. Keep going, keep going. It's not easy, man. Like exposing all your skeletons, but like if I don't do it, like who's gonna stand up for these people that are like me, that have no one and nothing? No one, nothing. So I am. I'll do it. You know, hate on me. I'll take it. Um, but somebody's got to say something. Somebody's got to do something. Who better than me? Who better than you? Anyways, I was at the tree line and I heard a voice call out, said, Jen. And I thought it was Brian. I thought he came to look for me, but it wasn't him. So I don't, maybe I was hearing things. Who knows? So I got up, dusted the leaves off myself, and I walked over to this other tree where sometimes I sit and I build a little fire when it's really cold. And I had picked up another natural piece of quartz, which I find like by the streams and everything, just like it's a freaking gold mine of quartz here, natural uncut quartz, like in people's backyards, and they don't even realize it. So I leave stone this to honor, certain beings, and one of them that I feel is pretty close lately is Hecate. Some people pronounce her name Hecate, Hecat. I mean, everyone. We all have how many names? We all have how many labels? I mean, so who cares? And she's like a goddess of witchcraft. Blah, blah, blah. That's another story for another day. So I left it there for her to honor her and her service and what she stands for in righting wrongs. Um, and I kind of feel, me and Brian watched a documentary this morning about Persephone and Hades, and we're pretty much that couple. That's us. And I'm Persephone and he's Hades, and it's a beautiful union. It's yin and yang, and dark and light, and positive and negative ions of a battery, and proton and neutron creates an electron, and it's a really cool thing. So we were both like mesmerized by it. I could see him reading it too. It was really cute. So anyways, if anyone, is a nut about like Greek mythology and literature and things like that, or if anybody's like into physics or the astros or anything like that, oh my God, I would love to hear from you. Like, I die to have conversations like this with people, and I never get to. So, like anything about archaeology, philosophy, scripture, text, natural forms of healing and herbs, and just so many things, physics and science and chemicals and alchemy and astrology. And I'm a big, like, I don't do birth charts or anything, but like numbers, everything's numbers. And I'm big into like numerology, and like I love my numbers, like 12261976, and like my birth number is 7, and my life path number is an 8, and like I can remember phone numbers from when I was a kid. We grew up at 1415 Arden Avenue, and the streets in my neighborhood were Arcturus and Saturn and Neptune and stuff like that. Like, hmm. my phone number, like the area code back then was 813 before it was 727, and it was 461 0091, and that was my phone number, my family's phone number for years. So, anyways, I'm like really big science nut, physics nut, chemistry nut, philosophy nut, ecology nut, sociology nut, you name it. Just the deeper topics, the deeper subjects. I'm your girl. Like, hit me up. I would love to just not have to bash heads and argue with people and convince people, but just like collaborate and swap ideas and, like friendly debates, like the flat earth versus the non flat earthers, and like have that cool debate and stuff like that. Because, oh, we can get down with some research. Like, truthfully, hit me up, seriously. But, anyways, so with that being said, there's a show called The Dead Files where there's a girl named Amy, and she is a seer. She sees spirits, and they'll go in. She works with a retired New York homicide detective, and they go investigate paranormal activity. And, she provides information, and he does investigation, and they clear like negative. I don't even like referring to them as entities. So I'm going to say energies from spaces. And this lady, Amy, people make fun of her because of her facial expressions. And when she's like channeling spirits, you do. Like, for me personally, the reason I am alone, like I'll go into a room alone, is because I kind of do like have the outward appearance at that point of like Rain Man. Okay, so like her face will like kind of scrunch and contort, and like her head might jerk or something like that. But when these energies are like coming, like you can't help your like your bodily reactions. You're like, and like for me, I'll sit there and I'll just like rock or like twirl my hair, and I can see how that looks to people, like that I should be in a mental ward, like the kid sitting there rocking, and I get it, like I get it. But the point of that is that the fact that I get that and that I understand that proves my lucidity and my sanity, okay? So, anyways, so with that being said, I know how it feels to be perceived as crazy or insane or mad or whatever the labels are. I don't care. Um, just know that looks can be deceiving. Very. Um, so back to I'm just, you guys have to pardon me. These are what my notes end up looking like. So I'm like, and like literally sketches of things, and like this is my work here, and it's all a mess because I just don't have a space like a nice, and that's why some of us, like me, we have OCD type tendencies, because we need things to be in a specific order so we can quickly, efficiently get to what we need to do, because we have other things to focus on right now. So when like my life, it being chaos and living out of bags and never knowing where I'm going to be from day to day, and going from a car to sleeping at the park to packing up again and staying here and blah, 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 blah. Like, this is as good as it's going to get for right now. And so I do my best. Okay. So just bear with me, please. If anybody's even still watching at this point. But anyways, so the angel hugs, that's what I was going to talk about. The whole theme of this video is the healing, literal healing effects of hugging. The average human being needs a minimum of 8 hugs a day. 8 hugs a day. Now, I get that many, except for Brian. Every once in a while, when his Berlin Wall can crumble down around himself a little bit, I'll get maybe that. But I want everybody to know that if you're not getting hugged or somebody's not putting their arms around you and sharing positive energy into your auric field or your being, your angels are there and your guides are doing it for them. So you're still getting them regardless, okay? Um, so yeah. And he came up to me when we took the picture for the thumbnail of this video, and he's like, "Get over here." He said, you know, "Come on, I'll hug you." And he's all cute about it because he's Mr. Tough Guy, atheist, dark, me and my skull tattoos and uh, my scorpion tattoo on my hand. And, he's a wounded innocent too. And I'm watching him bloom as of late during this awakening process. And we've been having some pretty deep conversations about it, and it's really nice. And he's softening a little bit, and so am I. So it's a good thing. So, what hugging does is that person to person contact. You are actually exchanging energy with another being, and it's actually healing medicine. So, like I was saying, okay, so there's scientific experiments done on water that through an alchemical process can change the composition of the H2O into crystalline snowflake form. So it completely bypasses the gaseous phase. It does not turn into gas. It goes from liquid to solid. That is what alchemy is. And hugs do the same for people on a cellular level. You're talking cells and DNA and things like that. And through exchanges of energy, whether people use Reiki, healing hands and laying hands on somebody, and crystals, and, I use this. Found this piece of natural quartz crystal in the riverbed. I charged it in a salt bath. I left it by the moonlight overnight, and I left it in the sunlight during the day. So it's fully charged with all my love and all my healing intent. And what I do is I'll take my quartz, and if I have a headache, I'll hold it there, or I will rub it just gently. You don't have to press, slam it. You just hold it and rub. And if I have a migraine, sometimes really bad, in the back of my neck, like in this area, right where that, I don't know if I'm getting this because I don't have eyes in the back of my head. Well, my kids will tell you I do. But back here, there's an indent in the back of your head, and there's a lot of pressure underneath there. So sometimes I'll put my crystal right there and hold it until the pain goes away. What else? If I have a sore throat or allergies or I'm coughing, I will put it on my sinuses here. When I need help with my pineal gland, for whatever reason, I'll place it there where your pineal gland is located. You'll notice you have a ridge in your forehead, and just above that is a space like an indent. That's pretty much where your third eye, your pineal gland is, right there. And it totally, if you were to go around your head like this and end up in the back of your head at the same level right here and go around, that's that's where your pituitary gland is. You know how babies have a soft spot right here? So that's where your crown chakra would come through, is like a baby's soft spot right there. And in the front is your pineal, and in the back is your pituitary. Okay? So, crystals can be very healing, and Reiki masters and Reiki healers put their intent with their energy. Like right now, since I'm holding it, it's in my auric field. So I'm charging it with positive energy right now. And I'll lay there and I'll close my eyes if I have a headache, let's say. And in a matter of a few minutes, I open my eyes and I'm like, sweet, okay, on to the next daily task, you know? So, sorry, that was Brian walking in. So that's on that. Now, as far as for children, this can work as well with kids with ADHD or autism or things like that. Salt baths are very important. Epsom salt is magnesium, and when you immerse yourself in a salt bath, an Epsom salt bath, some people call it a SITZ bath, SITZ, you're actually neutralizing the ions, the negative ions in your body. So, you know, lots of kids struggle with not being able to express themselves. And this these are just little healing techniques that I've picked up because I've done them, I've tried them. And my kids are living proof, I'm living proof. I sit here as a clean, sober, off of 12 to 14 unnecessary toxic psychiatric medications. I have all my documentation. I mean, everything I speak is the truth. So if I can sit here today with no needle hanging out of my arm with dope in it, or smoking a crack pipe, selling my body to get the next fix because I'm so hard up for just some escape, and to not even, or to just know, I mean, I just know that that is never going to be a part of me ever again. Like, I will never touch another horrible, horrifying substance like that ever again in my life. And people that don't believe me, just watch, you know? You'll see. That's all I can say. I'm not an evil person. I'm not a horrible person. I just was under a lot of pressure as a kid because when you are tested as a child and you take one of these ridiculous Stanford Binet tests or whatever, and they try to gauge you or measure you on a standardized scale of any sort, and then they classify on this scale from genius at the highest level to imbecile at the lowest level. Don't you think that label itself automatically gives a kid like a lifelong stigma? It did me, anyways. And sorry, I gotta plug my phone in, guys. Battery low, of course. Sorry. Okay. Oh geez, this video is almost an hour long. Okay. What's next? Okay, so to my son, I'm just gonna explain some of this other stuff real quick. Tupac was someone who definitely spoke out against the Illuminati and spoke out in the pursuit of truth, the truth of God. I played some of his songs today. Again, I always always had an affinity to Tupac. I love him dearly. And my oldest son, Stephen, my song and his is Dear Mama. And it's very much the truth. I don't think some of our children will ever really know the sacrifices that some of we mothers made alone in this world, living on WIC checks and in homeless shelters and having to make something out of nothing all the time because we couldn't afford the best medicine for them or the best whatever. So I learned from my ancestors and it works. And there's little things you can do, like if you have a baby and you can't afford wipes and diapers and all that, you can use cloth, any cloth, and just wrap it around them. And they make these vinyl underpants that pull up over them so that the wetness doesn't spread onto their sheets or whatever. I used them on my kids, and they just have to be washed. And really, is any mother or father of little ones really afraid of a little poop? No. So you dump it in the toilet, you spray off the cloth, and you wash it. I don't like bleach. I think it's very toxic. Well, it is toxic. The fumes are horrible. It's just bad news. So I use peroxide. And white as white can be and germ free. Um, Also, what you can do is I love the brand Viva paper towels. They're very soft. And what I used to do, and what you can do if you have little ones and you need wipes, or even if you don't have little ones, keep them around your house because they're convenient. Instead of having to go buy wet wipes or whatever they're called, the hand sanitizer wipes or baby wipes, and spend all those. Um, P&G wants you to spend that money on that Dawn and that Clorox and that Pampers and such. Oh yes, P&G wants that almighty ching-a-ling-a-ling. But you don't have to do it. Get a mason jar. You get some Viva paper towels that are very, very soft and gentle. You put about, I don't know, maybe a teaspoon, a little less of like baby magic, baby wash, and fill the rest. Um, about halfway in the jar with water, and you have built-in baby wipes naturally, just like that. And I'm sure other people have even better ideas. I'm sure you can use, other, or, I don't know. Let's see, what would be something good? Vitamin E oil, maybe put a couple of drops of that in because that's good for the skin as a protectant. And my middle son, Jonathan, had eczema really bad, and I had to go through the Dove soap and the allergy shots all over his back and all over his arms. And once a week, we're at the allergist. And oh man, he was just so sick. When I was pregnant with him, I had to get an ultrasound because I had too much fluid. I was carrying too much amniotic fluid. And they did an ultrasound and found that he had hydronephrosis, which is water around the kidneys. Um, Hydro is water, and the nephro is the kidneys. And I had to take him to CHOP, which is the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and they did a contrast CT scan of his urinary tract system and found that the urine wasn't coming out of the urethra all the way, it was cycling back up and around his kidneys. But the doctor, the pediatric urologist, told me that around the age of 3 or whatever, when he would grow a little more, it would correct itself. And it did. But, we had to do things. He had a lot of water, and I didn't give him straight up juices. I always diluted them with water it's too much of a sugar shock to a kid's system when you give them straight up juice and other things that we had to do. But with his eczema, he and his allergies and his asthma, and oh my God, this baby, like, he couldn't even. I breastfed all my boys. I breastfed them because it's natural. It's the healthiest they can get. And that's another subject for another day of why, but there's a reason we mothers produce breast milk. And that too is free. But I was pretty much alone. Nobody really showed me what to do or taught me what to do, and whatever. So my breasts didn't produce enough breast milk for my sons, so I always had to. I breastfed them first, so that the first thing they ingested was my breast milk. And then after that, because they still were hungry and they used to, like, I was frantic because they just to get enough. So I had to put 1 to 2 ounces of formula and supplement them with that. But Stephen couldn't tolerate regular formula. He had to be on soy formula, and he was okay with that. But Jonathan, oh my God, he couldn't even tolerate soy formula. I tried like that Nutramigen and oh God, back then they didn't know shit about shit. They didn't have anything. What they should have had is more lactation consultants and teaching first and second time or single mothers how to do this and how to get your breasts. It's all a state of emotion and awareness and well being. I didn't have a clue back then. So, anyways, yeah, so, new mothers out there, breastfeed. It is what's best for your baby, and it doesn't cost a dime. It's another way to budget. Um, okay, so the other songs that Tupac has are Only God Can Judge Me, and that's the truth. So, whatever people gossip, judge, or lie, or think, or feel, or whatever, it doesn't matter because there's only one that can truly judge from a bird's eye perspective of knowing it all, being omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, all knowing, all seeing, you know? Like you can't like think something and not say it and he's still not going to know. He sees it all. So I was called to stop being so judgmental in my thoughts about everything because I realize in the town that I'm in, especially the authority figures in this town, a lot of them are from here, like born and raised. And my children are in this, well, one of them, my youngest son, Benjamin, he is in the school system here, and the school systems are failing here. They fail these children. They put more importance on a PSSA standardized test and putting pressure on these kids to maintain a letter grade so that the school can continue being funded, which I get why they do it because they're so desperate for funding and teachers are so desperate to actually make a salary that they can live on. But I mean, they standardized anything. Nobody's standard, first of all. Let's get this real clear. Every single person on this planet is one individual aspect of a whole. And so, therefore, being singulars in a plural, you're going to be individual. You're going to be unique. You're going to be different. And again, it all comes back to acceptance. So, right now, the game of the world being waged upon a lot of us is separation and divide and conquer. And Bob Marley always said, where there is unity, there is victory. And he's, he was very much a prophet, and he spoke the truth. So that's another song to check out if you don't know it. I just want to tell people, put aside your like or dislike of a particular genre of music and focus more on the lyrics and the message that is being presented behind the music. It's pretty eye opening. And some of it is ear splitting and it needs to be loud sometimes. Like the band that my son and my adopted sons are in. Um, their band is called A Part of Me. And they are an emo metalcore band. And they're a little lost right now. They don't really know what to believe, and it's not their fault. Um, these kids are just amazing, though. Oh, of course they are. All children are amazing. All children are amazing. So the last song is Keep Your Head Up. And one of my favorite songs since I was a kid. I know you'll know it if you hear it. Um, Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Someday, yeah, walk in the rays of a beautiful sun. Someday, when the world is much brighter. And he talks about, like, don't let it get you down. Like, we know the oppression, we know the systems, we know they fail. Like, keep your head up. It's gonna get better. And it is. I just want to assure everybody that with the solar flares and things that are coming into our atmosphere currently and in the future, it's going to bring with it a lot of positive changes and a lot of positive transformations. Um, Now, I am pretty much a clairvoyant, um, and what triggered my abilities back to me was last year. I had 3 seizures outside and was on the ground convulsing and foaming at the mouth. And oh, there go the church bells again. Guess that's my cue, huh? Or not. Uh, and I don't know, for lack of a better term, a reset, a reboot, or a reawakening, or a remembrance. And that is what this, when you hear people talking about the awakening process or the ascension process, or that person is woke as fuck, or they're awake, something like that, that's what it means. It's a journey and a process of remembrance. So we're basically in a world where we are battling a potential future of 5G, which will bring about almost immediate bouts of Alzheimer's and dementia, or 5D, which is fifth dimensional states of consciousness. It's called having a conscious conscience, a Christ minded consciousness. Like Martin Luther King would say, do the right thing even if you stand alone. You know, like, you just do the right thing. Like, I can't even stomach the thought of eating another animal ever again. Or like I'm a smoker of cigarettes still. Like big tobacco. Like I battle this. I don't know what the F is wrong with me because I've literally watched family members, my mother, like just die from it. Like this horrible, painful death. And I don't know. It's a habit. You got to break a habit. Drop it like a bad habit, right? So I'm trying. I'm working on it. But with the stresses lately, I know that's an excuse and it's a justification. I know that. But like, come on, give me a little slack right here, peeps, because like I got a lot on my plate right now, a lot. So I'm working on it. I have a vape thing, majig, and I can't get to a store yet that I can afford the cartridges and the CBD oil for it. But I do have a doctor's appointment on the 21st, who this doctor is more of a naturopath. And I know once I get the sativa slash indica medicine that I need for my autism and other things. Like I have carpal tunnels really bad, and I have wrist braces that I wear, and other things, fibromyalgia, which that's pretty much healed. I don't really suffer the pains of fibro anymore. It's like kind of miraculous, to be honest. Um, so, anyways, um, so I see the doctor on the 21st. And at that point, I can get the cartridges and the refills of what I need, and then I can drop that filthy, disgusting habit like a bad habit, because it is one. And good old Lorillard sold out to RJ, and now they're taking menthols off the shelf, guys. I want you to know, if anybody's a Newport smoker, I'm a 25 plus year Newport 100s smoker, and I got a little one of those tabs they have in the cigarette pack, and now it's like, warning, this product kills. Where 10 years ago, like it would say, like, well, there's been research that it may cause cancer, but we're unsure at this point. We know what's up. Anyways, so please like pray for Nipsey's family, guys, and Taiwan, and me and my sons, and I always got you guys. You know that. You know I do. Um, I hold you guys in my heart chakra all the time. All the time. Like I don't keep a time clock schedule here anymore. I sleep when I need to. I eat when I need to. I channel when I need to. I heal when I need to. I meditate when I need to. I make phone calls and reach out to agencies when I need to. I connect with my children when I need to. I get lost in a book when I need to. I watch a really cool documentary when I need to. I study different topics like sacred geometry and other things that I have a lot to learn in these areas still. And but I'm getting there. And we all are. And I told Brian this morning about like no being on this planet can escape this awakening process. Irregardless, it is the only thing that has no discrimination based on race, sex, gender, nationality, religion, belief, any of that. Plants, animals, the ocean, the creatures of the ocean, otherworldly beings, human beings, rocks, stones, salt, whatever, air, you name it. It's all being transformed. These gamma photon rays that are coming in, like nobody can stop the sun's rays from coming in. Not little man on planet Earth. Nothing can stop it. So everyone is just gonna go through this process. And I explained to him that's why I'm like so desperate to just have this space of where I can do what I gotta do, because people are gonna need help when this happens. Because after my seizures last July and my awakening came on, like whoop whoop, full speed ahead over the holidays, and by the first of the year, I was just, I thought I was going insane or I was dying. One of the two. I was certain of it. I was either dead or going, losing my mind. Got off drugs, all of a sudden had these ideas to go plant-based diet and to clean out the toxins of like my cleaning chemicals. And I'm researching like Plato and Aristotle and Socrates and old Egyptian ancient stuff that I love all my life, and Greek mythology. And I'm like, what the F is going on with me? Like, you know, and I didn't have anybody to guide me through. I still don't. I have my soul tribe, brothers and sisters, you guys, and somebody, one person. Oh wait, let me turn my chat on. Maybe that would help. Sorry. Oh, Bridget, I'm sorry. That's another subject I need to study, is being tech savvy, because I am not. When I was in school, in high school, I took keyboarding. That's another thing. I was at least lucky. I was very privileged because of my scores, that I was able to get a private school education that my parents scraped and worked for to just afford the tuition. And talk about your first introduction to very snobby people and all these rich kids. And I went to school in Kmart clothes and Payless shoes, and I didn't care. And like my dad was real strict, and like I couldn't shave my legs, and I couldn't wear a bra and stuff like that when the other girls were. And they used to make fun of me and, you know, laugh at me and all that, make fun of my clothes. And but nobody saw how hard my parents worked to afford the tuition. And it was 300 and something dollars for me and my sister back in the early 80s. That's a lot of money. That's $600 a month just in tuition. Plus, they made you pay for your buses back and forth, transportation, because both of my parents had to work. And you had to pay for all your textbooks and workbooks and everything like that. So my parents spent a pretty penny on our education because they wanted the best for us, and that was it. And they're of the baby boomer generation, and there's a whole nother topic on that, you know. And we are another generation, those of us who were born in the 70s, we are here for a mission and we have a job to do. And then there are those that were born in the 90s and early 2000s, and they are the next wave of the influx of star seeds that came in to do it right this time, get shit right this time. So, anyways, I'm getting all sidetracked here. Like, I have 8 billion. This thing goes brrrr, like you think a computer's CPU is bad. Holy shit. That's why like me and my son, he's well, they tested him too, and he was found to be gifted. He got that label. And but he's even beyond me, and they classified me as genius back in the day. So he's just light years beyond me. Oh, speaking of that, did any of you guys know, or I just want you to know, that the coordinates at Giza, where the Giza pyramids are, the geographic coordinates of that are the exact measurement of the speed of light. Just information if anybody's interested. So, I am going to learn how to be a little more compassionate, realizing that people just aren't aware of certain things. And It's not like really pitying. Well, I pity the ones who are so dark and so low that they hurt others for that reason. I do pity that in a sense, but I feel compassion just for the lost. Those of us that are so lost and people have abandoned us or let us down or ostracized us or rejected us and made us feel less simply for just being different. And being different is not a bad thing. It's quite uplifting and quite empowering. And it differentiates you from the crowd. Like, who wants to be the same as everybody else? Not me, you know? So I'm not. Anyways, I have a potentially big court battle with the kids coming up and Department of Children and Families and so much. And I know what they do. I've been in that rodeo a couple times, ridden that bull, that metaphorical bull. When you're in mental wards or jail cells, and I've been in both, they medicate you first and sedate you first, and they ask questions later. So I'm just a little fearful because I know how they work. And my kids have been, their minds are being poisoned against me. And they're telling DCF people that, they think my mental status should be checked. And that's fine. I'm just going to do this. What I'm doing right now is speaking the truth. But the point is they're going to justify, well, we need to give you, blah, blah, blah. No, bitch, you're not giving me shit. You're not shooting me up with shit. You know, they've, God, I mean, people don't understand how it is in those places. You think a jail, anybody that's been in jail, you think that's bad? You think you got it bad in there? You should go to a mental ward. I've been strapped to gurneys. I've been in a straitjacket. I've been where I had a nurse or orderly or attendant or whatever you want to call it came in and they had a needle that was about 6 inches long and it was thick. And they had me strapped, with my wrists strapped to the bed. And he just came in. He didn't even eye contact. He just beeline right for my thigh, like literally my thigh right here. And he took the needle and he just shot it into my leg and I screamed in there. And in about 30 seconds, I went like this and I was out, like out. And this is what they do to you in there. Like, this is truly what they do to you in there. So, anybody that's been in jail that has not been in a treatment center slash mental ward slash asylum slash institution, whatever name, your rights are stripped in there. Even worse, you're still a caged animal and they tranquilize you. They do. And then they write your diagnoses. Oh, you're bipolar. Oh, you're schizophrenic. Oh, you're this label. And they send you out with your 12 unnecessary, toxic, poisonous chemicals they call medications. They're drugs. They're actually what should be the illegal drugs in this country. And that's also Big Pharma can make that next almighty dollar. And so, yeah, I keep paper trails of everything because when this comes to light one day, ooh, look at my grays, wow. When this comes to light one day, which it is, it's happening now. And again, I thank President Trump for that. The swamp's being drained. literally day by day, moment by moment. Man, it's big, it's massive, worldwide. Um, so yeah, it's all gonna come out, and I have like so many documents and so much research and so much written, so much on SD cards, and I have on my drive and on different media platforms and in safe places where if something, God forbid, happens to me, whatever that may be, if I'm silenced like Nipsey, or if somebody calls me out in my family and says, well, I think you should be committed, or whatever they call it, 302 or whatever. In Florida, they call it Baker Acted. I was Baker Acted a couple times. Well, then, the proof's in the pudding. And if you not find it on my person, on my body, hold on, I'm trying to read the chat. Oh, yeah, nice. Nice. Baby ecstasy. That's good. God, they're like, I told Brian a story, like a little analogy this morning about like witch doctors back in the day, like the early 1800s or 1900s, late 1800s with the gold rush and everything, how they'd be on their carts and they'd have the tonic in the bottle and they'd come on, buy the tonic and get healed. And these people would take their like little shekel and just want to be healed, and they would buy this tonic and it's just fucking water or something stupid. That's a quack. That's a witch doctor. And that's what most of these, they got their diploma hanging on the wall with the sticker on it with somebody who signed a signature, and they took a Hippocratic oath. But oh God. I mean, I lived my whole life in the pill mill state of Florida, where all these pain management quack money makers are doling out Roxys and opioids left and right, and they don't take insurance. Wink, wink. Cash only. And they'll take anybody as a patient as long as you got that almighty dollar. So, I mean, I would just see all, and I was on them. God, these Percocet 30 milligrams are little tiny blue Roxasets, and we call them Roxys. And I was in an abusive relationship, and I had a broken toe from him, and a back injury, and other things. And my doctor prescribed me Percocet. And after 2 months, I had it for a month. And by the second month, by only 2 months, I was so hooked on it that I called for a refill and they wouldn't give it to me. And then I was like, oh my God, how am I going to live with this pain? Like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I was sick because I couldn't stand the pain. So my friend at work, she had a little blue Roxy with her at work, and she said, come here and try this, and went in the bathroom, and she sniffed half of it and so did I, and right away it was ecstasy. It was a moment of pure ecstasy and escape from every form of pain. I felt like Superwoman. I got to get up in the morning, go to work all day, get home, cook meals, do baths, do homework, clean the house, throw laundry in, stay up through the night, do my thing after the kids went to bed, and then 4 a.m. do it all over again. And you know how many I ended up being on a day? 10. 10 Percocet, 30 milligrams a day to survive. And I spent back then, this was what, 2009. So 10 years ago, okay, 10 years ago, I was spending $10 a pill. So I had $100 a day habit. And when you know people, though, that are in the game and they go to see these doctors, they sell their whole scripts for, you know, a bulk price, a wholesale price, if you will. And so I made deals with people where I would get them for like $6 a piece. And so, people were getting prescribed 280 of these Perk 30, Roxy's, whatever, blues. People call them lots of stuff. A215s, M30s, whatever label. And yeah, so I don't know where I was going with that, but I was just real messed up for a long time, and as most of us are, victims to these systems and victims to these fallacies of failures in government, failures in healthcare, failures in the education system, failures in law enforcement. Oh, and speaking of law enforcement, the whole Judge Jeanine Pirro taking down, the systems in that branch of government service, the ones that are supposed to, I don't know, how does that go? Oh yeah, to serve and protect. They're not doing that great of a job, let me tell you, because another local one here just got popped for molesting an underage girl. And there's a lot more. And like I said earlier, I know of a couple that need to be investigated, to say the least. It just makes me sick when I think of these kids being hurt. Like, I can't take another kid being hurt. I just can't stomach it. I can't stomach it. So I wanted everybody to know that I am okay, and I love you all for your concern and for sending me your light and your love. I feel it. I know when you're with me. And it's right back at you, and you know that. And even if you don't think of me, I still got you. I try to maintain like 24/7, literally, just no matter if I'm washing up some dishes or running the vacuum for my boyfriend's uncle, or trying to navigate this mess with my kids, or being homeless, or blah 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 blah, blah, going through this ascension process and going it alone. Well, not alone. I mean, you guys, you know what I mean when I say that. I exclude you when I say that. So just know that, okay? But in 3D alone. Like, I wish we could all just figure out a geographic spot, meet up as a community. We all have such innovative ideas of how to live off the land, and by collaboration and unifying with each other, man, like, I envision like Ad-Ansara schools of free learning outdoors with teachers like Socrates and Plato and Jesus, and sitting on big stones, and the kids just gather and they sit there and they learn, and then they go play and explore and grow and create. And no child ever gets told what classification they fall under. They are less than or greater than, the standard masses and generalized masses. It's just got to stop. And nobody lives in fear. I appreciate your love and light. And nobody lives in oppression anymore, because money is fake. The Federal Reserve created a mix of paper and cotton that they stamp with ink with different serial numbers. And they have all kinds of Illuminati symbolism all over it. because you're a slave to it. And they make it to where you can't live without it. But you can. And that is by communities coming together and people learning how to give up their luxuries and their unnecessary products, things, just because they have a label or a brand or they come from a certain company or something. You don't need it. Like people, let's say that, people in my family, for instance, are real strong about like, oh, I don't know, an example. Oh, and before I make claims using brands and getting sued and shit like that, like I can afford to get sued anyway, I'd be like, what do you want? My freaking blood? That's pretty much all I got. Sorry. Um, So, Copyright Act of 1976, and as per being born in 1976, I'm going to enact my freedom of speech right now, right here. This is my channel, and I can speak on the topics freely and openly in which I choose. It's not to, down anybody, it's just my personal opinion. So, therefore, I have a right to speak it. So, I'll use Dawn dish soap, let's say, okay? Really expensive, really expensive. And they're just chemicals. Now, they've done some good things. They help wildlife. When we had the Exxon Valdez oil spill, that was a big thing, back then. And there would be animals that had oil covered on their feathers and such, and they suffocated and they died. So the Dawn soap actually removes the oil, but there's other ways you can do that. And furthermore, people don't realize that you eat off of dishes and such, but you really don't need soap to clean your dishes because scalding hot water, like at the boiling point where it produces steam, kills every bacteria and every germ. Any hospital can tell you that. Um, so it's like another, thing that people can budget. Just you got to find out what you can live without, what luxuries you can live without, and try to live as not being so much a slave to the system as possible. Because it's not here to help us, me or you. It's here to entrap us, enslave us, and keep us hooked on it until we're dead. And it's just more money to them. Their pockets get fatter and we die. It's called depopulation. And if anybody keeps up on any world events that are going on, like when the World United Nations meets once a year, it's called Davos, Davos. And they go over all current world events, government systems, global warming, everything on a global scale. And Kim Jong-un even came out after that meeting and said himself that if we don't stop this pollution and these carbon footprints that we're all leaving with global warming, we're looking at a decade till. So there's a little food for thought for people, maybe, if they care. I do. I love this planet. I love animals. I love people. I just want to help them. So it doesn't really matter on the physical in 3D what happens to me. I really don't care. I just want to help them. That's my only goal. Is unifying people and teaching that there are better ways. And I always get that hate all the time too. Well, what makes you what What qualifies you to be a teacher of any? Look at what a failure you are. What would qualify you to be a teacher of anything? Well, here's what. Because there's an old famous quote by an old famous someone, and it very clearly says that the master has failed more times than the beginner has ever even begun. And I can tell you, I've been flat on my face down in the dirt in every ugly, deplorable, disgusting, filthy, nasty situation you could possibly wrap your brain around. Been there, done it myself. Got the t-shirts. Plural. Yeah, I have a walk-in closet. I'm not ashamed of myself. It was all lessons, and I learned. And now it's my time to just show that there are better ways. And people need to start planting their food and growing their food. And they need to learn other ways because I don't do the date thing. I don't do that. Nor Nostradamus. But I don't do the dates just like him because you know as well as I do that things can change in an instant, go one way or the other at any given moment. So you can't commit to certain dates, but I see timelines. And I know that 2019 is the year of change. The end. That's it. It's the year of change. And there's a reason that we're coming up on the year 2020. 2020 vision. Everything will be seen by the year 2020. Truthfully. So I know we're getting there, and I know the truth's being exposed left and right, and it's going to trickle down from federal into state, into county, into local municipalities and such. And Archangel Michael's on my back all the time. Patience is a virtue. And I'm like back at him. It's a virtue you have, though, but I didn't get. Can you help a sister out? So, what to see? Oh, you will see. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful future. And the innocents of today, the young ones, are going to rule it in their way, their beautiful way. Think Minecraft and Fortnite and creation and good eggs that wouldn't even know how to hurt a fly, much less oppress someone or judge them or label them or bully them. My kids are on the receiving end of being bullied, as was I. Fat, nerd, you're so alternative in high school. And then I got the nickname Albert after Albert Einstein, like I freaking asked for it, you know? So I know what it's like. I always have. And I'm not dumb. And I got blessed by God with the brain that I got, and that was my gift. And I intend on fully using it. Both hemispheres, west and east, left and right, in a duality type of 3D matrix, you know. It's got to be a top to the bottom, a black to the white, and under to the over, a yin to the yang, and up to the down. A red and a blue gang colors, a red and a blue political colors, a left and a right, you know how it goes. So, back at you. You're so cute. I read your energy when I watched your video, and you have the sweetest, kindest spirit. Like, the day that I get to build my little community, I call it a rescue ranch, like the unwanted, the thrown away, the oppressed, the lost, the addicts, the parents that are displaced, the children that are suffering, the animals. Like, oh yeah, I got some ideas in this noggin here of how to create this, acreage of a rescue ranch. Like, that's what I want to do. And have a school there. Uh, you know, it's just everything sustainable, solar panels, hempcrete, bamboo, crystals, using irrigation like they did in ancient Egypt, where they drew from the Nile and it actually went up the sides of the pyramids and down the other, and the one Nile River irrigated all their crops. They used it for bath water. It went into the pyramids underneath, and it's really cool what energy can do. And that's what the future holds. Like, think Atlantis. I've also been kind of shown where Atlantis is, and I could be wrong, but I believe, it just makes sense, anyways, that there's a particular ocean on our planet which holds a similar name to it, and lots of crazy stuff happens in that particular ocean. So I'll just leave it at that. But I do believe that with what's happening to Gaia through this awakening ascension is somewhat of an expansion. So things that maybe have been underneath for so long are going to raise and surface. Um, so yeah, in prophecy, we'll talk about the oceans being dried up for the people of Israel to cross. And I think that's a metaphor for what truly is about to occur sometime soon. Um, so yeah, like one person actually I would love to work for, or not work for, but work with, is Elon Musk. Seriously, like the companies that he has, I watch like the Dragon launch and his space expeditions, and I'm just like him. Like oh my God, we both got those labels of our academic ability at a young age. He was sleeping on the floor at the YMCA, homeless and stuff like that. And I subscribed to his channel, and I even like, I was so dumb. On one of my previous videos, I literally wrote out a rough draft like essay, because he hires based on merit, not on your education or lack of, or your diploma or lack of. He bases recruitment on merit, those that earn it. And I reached out and I put the link to my video in the comments, because I don't know how to really personally like he's really going to publish his email or something, right? So I took my video and I read out loud my rough draft essay that I wanted to share with him, and I posted that link on what is it? Elon Musk Viral Videos, his official YouTube. So I put it out there. I don't know. They always keep telling me the miracle maker makes miracles. But if I could link up with somebody like him that actually would understand the way I speak, because he speaks the same brainiac kind of way, I think with things that he's doing with Solar City and Tesla, the electric cars using lithium ion batteries, and the Ad-Ansara free learning schools, and SpaceX, and oh man, like I just know that I would have something to offer that would be of benefit, because he's like complete humanitarian. Like he uses his own money to fund all of his companies, and then he sold other things, like what became PayPal. It used to be X.com. He sold it and used the money from selling those things to build these startup ones that he's got now. Oh, and the Boring Company. are the tunneling systems underground for these electric cars to go through, but they also have platforms where pedestrians can travel. And you could get from like, I don't remember what the stats off the top of my head, but let's say California to DC in like 4 hours or something. Like it's awesome. And then he wants to get people to Mars, like be able, like the average Joe that can fly on an airplane and travel. You can take a trip to Mars on a commercial flight. And he landed on the moon. He left records on a disc there should anything happen. And he's really trying, man, like really. And like Obama wouldn't listen to him. And well, we know why now, but I know why President Trump is here. And I do believe that, in my opinion, something is going to occur to where maybe based on our DNA, social security numbers or something. I can't see it, but something is going to happen where, well, I already know he's pushing for Medicare for all. So that's free healthcare, and that means free choice of whatever doctor you're not conformed to have to go to whoever they tell you you have to go to. With Medicare, if you want to go see a naturopath, a holistic, a Reiki healer, a chiropractor, whatever, you can. And he also did free school choice in Pennsylvania, at least here it is. I don't know about anybody else, but kids can choose what school they want to go to, or cyber school, or homeschool, which is a great thing. That's freedom, man. So, okay. So, if you guys want to help me out, pray for a miracle somehow, some way. Maybe Elon links up and, like, here's my cry to the universe that, like, I want to teach children. I believe in real knowledge, like real education, not the fallacies they teach you in school. Christopher Columbus sailed the seas and discovered America. No, because my oldest son is Mohican Indian, and I can tell you the truth about what happened to the Native Americans here and how much blood was really spilt on this land. And I can feel it in this town, I'll tell you that much. So what they teach in the history books in mainstream school and mainstream media is a lie. And I went to public school, I went to private school, I was the brainiac nerd in the library while everybody else was out playing, doing my own research, because I wanted the truth, because I didn't believe the bullshit back then. So I got it, and I've spent a lifetimes, plural, I gotta start correcting that, figuring it out. And their jig is up, and we know that, oh yes, theory, exactly. And people condemn conspiracy theorists. And let me clue people into another thing about theories. Theories are another label, another name for a thought, a notion, an idea, a wondering, a pondering. That's a theory. It's just an unexplored possibility. That's all it is. So, all this censorship about anybody that's been tagged or marked a conspiracy theorist, well, they're going to realize and they're going to start calling it conspiracy fact, first of all. Second of all, in order to solve any puzzle, any case, any mathematical equation, any chemical compounding chemistry or physics, you have to explore every possible theory. Because if you don't, you, you're not knowing if you're getting the true answer. So theories must exist. Because if they didn't, nobody would have an answer to a thing. Okay? So, like, the reason they do that is they always want to silence the truth. So, oh, they're a conspiracy theorist. Pop their YouTube channel, pop their video. Somebody, Bridget, it might have been you, as a matter of fact, that viewed my sky video from this morning and only got 15 seconds of it viewable. And I did a previous video on that. If you put in your clickbait or the title of your video or post it anywhere on, oh, it was you, okay. If you post it on Facebook anywhere and it has a tag word, they use tag words. If they see the word awaken, woke, ascension, 5D, 5G, sky, clouds, chemtrails, contrails, there's so many more. I just can't remember them all right now. They tag you and they purposely F with your stuff and they remove it. Now, there's a very, very, very well known, he has over 1 million subscribers worldwide, Jason Stevenson, the meditation, Relax Me Now. He actually, if it wasn't for him, I'd probably be dead because he taught me how to meditate. I didn't know how to meditate, and I've been a subscriber of his for like, I think 3 years now. And he taught me like everything I need to know about meditation. And he's a beautiful, loving, good egg. And he did a video this morning apologizing because his whole channel was shut down yesterday. April Fool's Day. It's a very monumental day in history. There's a very dark reason behind it in ancient times. That's why people made it a holiday, to pull pranks and tricks. Fools, because it's all about trickery. So he went on this morning and he held up his plaque because he got his 1 millionth subscriber, which they sent to him after he had gotten like 200,000 more or something, he said. But who cares? He still got it and he deserves it. He's a freaking beautiful human being, beautiful soul, beautiful good egg, and so loving and kind. And they jacked his channel because he puts the meditation music on live all night. So, you know, we can sleep peacefully, those of us who are awakened, because a lot of us don't. And they took it, and then magically this morning it's back again. So he was like, I'm so sorry, you guys. He was like, he looked like he was about to cry, and I felt so bad for him. So, like, whatever. I guess I'm getting the courage to speak out against these things because all it takes is somebody just doing their own research and they're going to see that every single thing that I'm saying is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. And that's the way I roll. I'm not superficial. I've always said, like, I'm an open book, and I mean that literally and figuratively and metaphorically. What you see is what you get. But don't judge a book by its cover. You gotta open it and read it and draw your own conclusions and paint the story in your own mind. And then figure out the ending for yourself after you read it. But don't just judge it by the cover. Sometimes covers are ugly. And then books get passed on shelves and they end up being the most wonderful masterpiece works of arts. And libraries are my church of choice. Zach De La Rocha from Rage Against the Machine, he refers to them as mind cemeteries. And it's true. Like the Nazis burning books back then, and they try to keep people dumbed down so people don't question these fallacies of the world and their failures, and expose the real truths. Every prophet in the history of time has been silenced. Look what they did to Jesus. I mean, Jesus. And him, like, oh man, yesterday when I was out in the woods, I said that too to him. I was like, You're up on, the torture. I can't even stomach to think about it anymore, but whatever. You know, he's asking for just a drink of water and they give him sour vinegar or wine or whatever it was, and then poking his wound down the side while he's hanging there. Can you imagine hanging there like that? And people in crowds mocking you, boo, calling names, and throwing shit at you, and they're pushing down a crown of thorns on your head, and you got blood dripping, and you're practically naked, hanging there, exposed, with every wound visible. Your mother is standing there. Your wife is standing there, family, disciples, everybody, friends, and they're in tears watching. And you are that good that you ask the Father to forgive them, for they know not what they do. And I looked up and I'm like, how the did you do that? Because I don't think I can ever be that good. I don't. I don't. But I do that every day in my mind. Like, I'll look at how I judged people throughout the day and I'm like, damn, I got mad at that cop. And then I'm thinking, all right, he grew up in this town. He's a product of this poor education system here. He can't help it. And it's maddening. You can, you're so cute. Thank you for that, honey. I appreciate that. Although, see, there's little supports like that, and we've never met and shaken hands in 3D Matrix world, but like, I feel the energy connection. Like, that's what energy is. People need to understand what energy actually is. It's like we're in an ocean right now, and this is air, but it's actually water. So by going like that, you're actually pushing energy. When you go, you're pushing energy, because we are, think of yourself as swimming. Well, how could you take your positive love and give it to somebody? You just do that. That's what Reiki is. And with your intent, from your heart center, your heart chakra, and the way that I get to it really quick is I think of something that brings me the most joy. And for me, that's my kids when they were babies. And it was just me and them and their innocence and purity and their little moments that I hold here. But they don't see, they don't know. But I remember. I have photographs, but I hear. And when I think of that, I smile and I know I'm in my heart center. I'm in my heart chakra at that point. And then from there, I formulate every intent as visually, as wholly as I can. Not holy like la la la, holy now, but wholly. And I, paint it in my mind. I envision everything, every person, even people I don't know all over the planet. Oh, and last night, I actually did a hypnosis session on world peace because of that whole situation going. I knew something was going on somewhere in Asia. Like I told Brian, I don't ever get the luxury of being able to put my finger on it, because like any seer or oracle from the past, like Nostradamus or Saint Anthony or any scribe, Saint John, anybody that has written and seen from the future, the past, the present, you cannot specify dates because anything can change at the drop of a hat, literally. So I just knew it was Asia. And I told Brian that yesterday. And I said, I don't think I'm going to be sleeping tonight. I almost like because something big's going down. I don't know what, but I just know it's Asia somewhere. So I think I have to stay up and stay conscious so that I can hold it down because I ground it. And it's like I pretend that I'm taking my arms and I'm holding all of Asia in a big bear hug and all the innocence and like holding them and just saying like Bob Marley, every little thing is gonna be alright. You know, oh, that's my freaking song every morning. That's what plays in my head when I wake up. And I wake up to the birdies chirping away. Now that spring is here and it's beautiful. All right, girl, I think I'm going to get off here. My bladder's about to explode anyway, so I've already done, oh my God, 2-hour video. But I pretty much did it. I also read today. I just want to catch people up. A lot of people, I wish I could afford tarot cards, but I can't yet. But I have a couple of people that resonate with me, and they draw tarot, and I go based on their readings because I resonate with them. But for me, my tarot is my Bible, and what I do is I take it and I just randomly flip through, and whatever page I land on, there's something there that is wanting me to read. So that's how I do it. And today, another lo and behold, coincidental, isn't it ironic moment is First Chronicles 20, wait, no. First Chronicles 17 through 23. And if anybody reads that, especially with what just happened, your mind's going to be blown. Like, it literally goes along with things in Revelation. So yeah, I mean, the Vatican, I was raised in the Catholic Church. Believe you me, I know the truths and I know the deceptions. And I'm also going to say one other thing that needs to be said. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. This is what you call the separation of church and state, aka the Vatican and the crown. Watch and see. Trace bloodlines if you don't believe me. Look what happened to Princess Diana, another one silenced because she knew the truth. Look at King Henry VIII's reign back in the 1500s. They didn't even allow the peons of their kingdom to even hold Bibles or be allowed to learn how to read so that they could suppress the truth. Believe me, they hold very close ties with the big steeple, if you know what I'm saying, if you catch my drift. Oh, you are. It's being exposed. It's being exposed now as we speak. It's already out. It's already been spoken. Now, see, the beautiful thing about the internet is it is a World Wide Web, like a spider web, okay? So any bit of information, think of a moth going into a spider web. Uh-oh, it gets caught in the web and the spider comes out, wraps it in a cocoon, sucks the life out of it, and then leaves its carcass there and digests the juices. But that bit of information still got stuck in the web, number one. Number two, the spider ingested it. So now its DNA has imprinted in the spider. And now when the spider spins its web of silk and creating its next web, that information will be imprinted in that new strand of silk that the spider weaves. That's just the way I speak. I use metaphors and analogies. Jesus used parables. I don't know. It's just a weird thing. Um, yeah, everybody is, and everybody's gonna finally know the truth. And it's been long enough. Like, God, my generation, we were against the New World Order since I was 15 years old. We knew what was up with the elite and all theirs. Like, you can look on my Facebook and look at the images that I have saved and everything. I blast that shit out all the time. I have my whole life. I ain't scared of that. Um, so yeah, like, people don't realize that since the introduction of the internet in, I don't know, circa to the masses, at least the general public, circa 1984, that every keystroke, every audio, blah blah blah, every selfie, every voiced audio, every video, every single thing that anyone has ever done on the internet world wide web is recorded. So that's going to expose a lot of skeletons for a lot of people, huh? Think of maybe some not so nice saved pictures we all have had, or some not so nice websites we all have maybe visited on occasion. Lots of skeletons coming out. But it's a good thing, because the world's going to see that they thought theirs were so horrible, but when they see what really has happened out there, they're not going to look so bad for maybe going and looking at some porn, or, I don't know, taking a naked selfie or sending a dick pic or something like that, because they're going to see the real filth of what's been going on, and they're going to be like, thank God it wasn't that bad. I mean, these psychopaths, you got to Google terms like, oh, I don't even want to say this, but it's already on the internet, so I didn't speak it first, anyways. Adrenochrome and things that these cabal members, like the Clintons, the Obamas, the Bushes, the Bilderbergs, the Rockefellers, basically every person that is a billionaire, trillionaire, elite, the 1% of the world, wanted to concoct this plan for a new world order. One education, one government, one law or authority, rule, one religion, and you don't want to know what their religion, how ugly that was. And you would have been forced to do it. And then manipulate the masses to the extent where AI takes over, and Siri and Alexas and Hey Googles do all the work, and humans just go because they're not needed. It's called depopulation. And that was their master plan, their plot for a long time now. And they're being exposed left and right. So it's a beautiful thing. And they're right now, it's April 2nd, 2019. And right now, they are grasping for straws, trying to hold on to that last bit of power. And that's why the murder happened yesterday with Nipsey and different things, because they know their jig is up. They know their time is up, and they know their time is short now, because the truth's already been out. It's on the internet, way big spectrum, worldwide spectrum. And now it's just a matter of time till it all comes out. But people are really going to freak out, because a lot of them are people we admired, actors, famous people, heads of churches, heads of royalty. My mother's side, my mom came from Great Britain. Like, My mom had a British accent at 5 years old when she came to America. My Nana, on the other hand, fled Nazi Germany in 1938 and at 19 had to learn how to speak English because all she spoke was German. And Hitler times, not a good time. My dad is a naval Vietnam veteran. He fought in Vietnam, which was a fake war, a made-up war, just for a profit. So many young men died and lost their lives for nothing. And I'll never disgrace my dad by letting him know that truth, because he is an honorable man. And if it weren't for him and all of our servicemen, none of us would be here right now. This is the shit that gets to me. And this is why I hate being alone in 3D, because I never have anybody to talk to about it and like swap stories. And like a cool person, another cool person is David Wilcock. He's like me, and Naughty Beaver. He knows what's up. What else can I think of? Oh, my boy Cody. He's really super smart. He's like a super genius, way beyond me even. And he's got like all these, I don't know, connections, and mine's just a lot of family connections. Yeah. Yes, they are heroes. They absolutely are. They risk their lives over there, and you don't even know. My one friend who just died last week, or this week, excuse me, I was saying earlier in my video before you came in, he was 72 like my dad, and he fought in Korea, and he got sprayed with that Agent Orange, and it really messed him up. And he had a really bad drug problem when he came back after that. It's not his fault. And he just died. So I've been dealing with that too. So I guess that's my issue with all the death and the blood lately, is I'm getting like a lot of messages from, those who've been silenced, those who are being silenced. I'm seeing it unfold now with the Nipsey thing. And then in my personal life, having someone that, did a great service for me. Anyways, he gave me a roof, some clothing, food when I had nothing. And he got to meet my father, and they got to swap war stories and shake hands, and it was a beautiful thing. Yes, they are. Definitely are. They're all around. That's the whole hug thing that I wanted to say about the video too, is everybody doesn't understand. Every human being needs at least 8 hugs a day to be optimally healthy. And I know I don't get any very rare, and it sucks. But if no one's hugging you in 3D, first of all, know that I am, okay? I always do. I'm like Mama Bear, got you. And, but our angels and our spirit guides, they are always around us. Like my mom, she passed in 2014. She's like literally right here behind me right now. Like literally right here. And they give us our 8 hugs a day and more. Especially when we're not getting it. All you have to do when you need that extra one is just ask them. They're right there. Remember the ocean, the water. You just have to put the vibration, which is your throat chakra, your voice, into the ocean waves, the air waves, the radio waves, the frequency. As Tesla would tell you, 369, energy, frequency, vibration. So you're taking your energy, and then you're tuning it into that frequency. Think of a radio dial on the stereo, right? Okay, so you got to find the frequency, take your energy, and then transmit it with a vibration. Ah, right? You vibrate, or music, or crystal bowls, or Tibetan bowls, or drums, or anything. Dance, sing, whatever. And that's the key, 369, Tesla's key to the universe, energy, frequency, vibration. So yeah, and you can connect with who you need to connect with on the other side if you tune in properly. And on my birthday is the day after Christmas, 12/26. There's another ironic thing. And I went outside in the backyard. It was freezing. It was like 2 degrees here in PA. And I was like, screw it. I don't care. I don't have a telescope anymore. I was so pissed off. But there was an Ursa's meteor shower going on. And I was like, I'm not missing that. Da, 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 da. And I went by myself on my birthday. And I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. But thank you, because I needed that. That's cute. That's hysterical. That was too cute. Anyways, I lost my train of thought. Oh, okay. So, oh yeah. So I went in the backyard and I was watching the earth. Well, trying to. There was so much cloud cover, but I could still see the red and the orange, and I knew when they were going and everything. It was really cool. And I was just crying because it was my birthday and I was alone, freezing in the backyard, watching this meteor shower. And I'm like, Mom, you know. And that was the first time she made contact with me. Like that, I felt it and I knew it. And I was like, oh shit. And I was like, am I going insane? Like, it was really weird in the beginning, really weird. And then by 11/11 of last year, well, I had 3 seizures in July, and I think I got reset, rebooted, whatever, bzzz, like that was me on the ground, like convulsing, and Brian resuscitated me all 3 times, but I died 3 times. So I think when I came back, my abilities were like, okay, we're back in service. And so come November, like 11/11, that's when I was fully awakened last year, fully awakened. And I was sitting here going out of my mind. Like, I was like, what's happening to me? Something, like, am I dying? Like, oh my God, something's wrong. Am I already dead? Am I living like in the movie The Sixth Sense where everybody's just pretending that I'm alive? Like, I didn't know what was happening. Then over the holidays and come the first of the year, it was a wrap. I was already like, I'm vegan, I'm plant-based, all this, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just like, okay. And then when I started channeling, I was like, oh, okay. Am I clairvoyant? And I was like, am I psychic? Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And then I started listening to people talking about the awakening process, and I was like, oh, that's me. Like, oh, that person's, oh my God, that person had just, oh. And I was like, yes, okay. I'm not insane. I'm not dying. Like, thank God. So, yeah, connection is really important. You're right, Bridge. Like, that's why I was saying, I wish like, oh, back to that whole thing with the whole Medicare for all, free healthcare. I believe something is going to happen to, how do I say it? Restore enough funding to people. I don't know how to do it. I can't see that, but I think it's by your social security number, but I could be wrong. And that way you're trackable regardless of whether you have a cell phone, whether they can find you with a bank account, whether if you are a citizen, you have a social security number. And I think they're going to use that and distribute, maybe restore. You know how the universe is balancing? Those that have had are going to, and those that have had not are maybe going to, something like that. But yeah, all that has been stolen, for lack of a better term, but that's the truth, literally. My parents were. Ah, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. So your parents. Bridget, what year were you born, if you don't mind me asking? Yeah, yeah, it is. I'm just like a number freak, and there's different waves of. Yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Me too. 76 for me. I always talk about that because I'm like what they call a bicentennial baby. So, like 1776, supposedly when Columbus discovered America, to 1976. So, like the 200-year anniversary of America was my year. And my dad's really cute. He always carries a bicentennial quarter in his pocket just to like signify, like represent my birthday and stuff. And he plays me and my sister's birthdays on his lottery tickets and stuff. It's really cute. Okay. All right, girl. Go take a salt bath or do some meditation or go twist your knob some more. Adjust your frequency. I gotta pee. I love you. Thank you for just hanging out with me, and it's really awesome. And also, I'm gonna throw my email again down in the in the comments. And if you want to email me, I'll give you my phone number. And like seriously, I like it. Actually, would make me happy if somebody needed help and they reached out to me. Like just the connection, like you were saying. You never know. Energy can move through fabric and wood and stone. But so yeah, I'm gonna throw my email down there. I know. Oh, I thought you meant spirit. So spirit can't turn it down. Never mind. I think I've talked too long. Can't you tell? My throat chakra's acting up here now. All right, so put my email down there. And then if you want to email me if you have any questions about anything, or you just want to talk, or just like swap, war stories or whatever. It's cool. I can use the connection too. Seriously, I'm like a singular in a plural world, I always say. And it sucks being I'm not alone. I have, like Brian, I'm not alone per se, but on this topic, I'm very alone. And in this teeny tiny town of not knowing, which I have to have compassion for, you can't really talk about it. So I welcome it, okay? So never fear about that. Never fear, your friend is here. I think I need to go meditate or something. I love you, and I will talk to you soon. See you on the other side.